What's going on, Celtics fans? We got a jam-packed show coming up, so stay with us here for a moment. But first, if you want the C's to win a championship this year, win it all, like this video, hit that thumbs up icon if you are rooting for the Celtics to win it all. And hey, come back in 3 months if the Celtics will have won a title. Maybe it's because you like the video. You never know. At least it'll clear your conscience. Hit that thumbs up icon if you want Boston to win it all for this season. All you got to do is hit that thumbs up icon. Welcome in to Boston Celtics Today. I am Harrison Graham from Chat Sports. Appreciate you guys for clicking on this video. And on today's show, let's take a look at three star players the Celtics could land via trade this off-season. But before we do that, name a player that you guys want the Celtics to go after and get this off-season. Let us know down in the comments section of a player that you think Boston could go out and get this summer. Okay, first guy up here, Rudy Gobert, the big for the Utah Jazz, who has been connected to some trade buzz because the Jazz could be a team that shakes things up this offseason. We know Gobert and Donovan Mitchell don't get along, and splitting those two stars up could be a possibility. Here's Andrew Hughes on the possibility of this move, as Fansided put this three big names of the Celtics idea together. The C's are in the same boat as the Mavericks, and current Toronto Raptors are good, but far from a conference favorite. That makes sense as a destination, too, regarding Gobert, and a package around Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, and several draft picks should be enough to entice Utah to make a trade. Now, Gobert is a double-double machine. 15 points, 15 rebounds, knows exactly what his role is. He's not a guy that's, going to force the issue offensively. Good role man, offensive rebounds, finishes around the glass, 2 blocks per game as well, as he's one of the premier defenders in the NBA. He can switch and hold his own against guards. He's a really, really good defensive-minded big that can also give you a little bit of scoring punch offensively as well. Here's the trade idea they cooked up, basically what you guys read in that article of both Williams, Peyton Pritchard, and multiple draft picks. Now, I would have to see what those draft picks are. If it's 2 or 3 firsts on top of all that, that's a lot for Gobert's contract because he's got 4 years and $170 million left on his deal for a guy who's going to be 30 next year. It's not like Gobert's 25, 26. He's a player that's getting older. So to go out and trade for him, okay, I think the Celtics could benefit from a big like him, but am I paying Robert Williams, who's having a career year, Grant Williams, who's starting to show some promise, multiple future firsts, and Peyton Pritchard? I don't know. I think that's a fair question to ask if you are a Celtics fan. Who wins this trade? What do you think? Type C for the Celtics, type J for the Jazz. Depends what those picks are at the end of the day. Get your votes in. Could go either way on this one. Next up, this is interesting, Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets with the Miami Heat, who, things have gotten a little sticky recently with Butler and Miami. There was that fight that almost broke out between he and Eric Spoelstra, but also, who's the veteran that I'm forgetting about? It doesn't matter. Udonis Haslem. There you go. Here's Brian Windhorst on the latest between Butler and Miami. The Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra thing, Jimmy Butler grinds on his teammates. I mean, he brings a lot to the table. There's been several organizations that have been like, we are ready for him to be out of here. And there's been organizations where he's been ready to be out of there. There is not a long history of harmonious marriages there for Jimmy. So when I'm seeing Spoelstra and I'm seeing Spoelstra say to him, and I know it's in the heat of the moment, I always knew you were crazy, I think he's speaking from the heart there. I think he does mean that. So I wonder, not only about this season, I wonder about Jimmy Butler long-term in Miami, especially since he's right there on the edge where his age has been banged up a little bit. I just wonder about that. And this is kind of the cycle of Jimmy Butler. He comes to a team, they instantly get better, they make the playoffs, have some playoff success. Everywhere he's been, he's made that team better. But after a while, he kind of wears out on you. I think there's a reason the Sixers did not re-sign him. I think there's a reason Chicago eventually moved on, Minnesota, maybe Miami now, because as great of a player is, he kind of wears his teammates out with his attitude, with his style, which I think that attitude and style brings a lot to the table, that junkyard mentality. But, I think it's possible that Miami could look to move him this offseason. Maybe a team like Boston would be interested. More on that from Andrew Hughes. Given Miami's previously registered interest in acquiring Jaylen Brown just this past season ahead of the trade deadline, Boston could absolutely land Butler with their second-best asset in a trade chip. Yeah, I'm not trading Jaylen Brown for Jimmy Buckets. Brown's younger. He's a better scorer. Butler's probably a bit of a better defender, but Jaylen Brown's a really, really good defender, especially for his age, still being young in the NBA. So I'm not doing that. But would I be interested in Jimmy Butler for a different type of trade package? Maybe, but at the end of the day, I'm not trading Jaylen Brown to get Jimmy Butler. I'm just not going to do it if I'm the Boston Celtics, especially now that the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are finally playing well together. Would you trade Jaylen Brown for Jimmy Butler? I'm not doing it. Type Y for yes. Type in for no if you agree with me. Let me know down in the comments section of this video. Also, while you're at it, go pick up a Celtics hoodie for 25% off, chatsports.com/Celtics hoodie. Link in the comments and in the description of this video. Click and shop today and go represent the C's with this hoodie. All right, one more trade candidate to talk about. How about Donovan Mitchell as we go back to Utah? For the same reasons I made earlier. I think there's a real possibility that Utah blows things up this year, especially if they lose early in the playoffs. Tim McMahon of ESPN.com says it's naive to think that Mitchell would play his entire career in Utah, so there's already thoughts that he wants out of there. Andrew Hughes again. Mitchell is a one-man offensive system onto himself, and he produces more of an orbit due to his superior facilitation skills. Jason Tatum would arguably have more room to operate, with Mitchell owning an identical conversion rig from beyond the arc than Brown as well. We don't want to see Brown traded, but if we must, send Mitchell to Boston ASAP, since Utah likely wouldn't accept any trade packages, not including the Celtics' second leading scorer. Now, I would rather keep Jaylen Brown. That's just me. I think Donovan Mitchell is probably a better pure scorer than Jaylen Brown, but he's not as good defensively. And you know what you have in Jaylen Brown. Who knows what Donovan Mitchell is outside of Utah? Now, I like Mitchell. He's really good. 26 points, 5.5 assists, 45%, 36% from three. Like, he's a very, very, very good player. But so is Jaylen Brown. Like, I don't know. Do I make that risk? Like a straight-up trade, Jaylen Brown for Donovan Mitchell? I'm not sure. I think I'd have to really think hard about that one. Would you trade Jaylen Brown for another star? Type T for trade, type K for keep. Let us know on this one down in the comments section. Would you trade Jaylen Brown for another star? Breaking down some trade candidates here on Boston Celtics Today by Chat Sports. 3 players to keep in mind here. Rudy Gobert, who could be available this offseason as the Utah Jazz could be looking to shake things up. Quinn Snyder's been connected to potentially replacing Frank Vogel in Los Angeles. We know Boston could benefit from having another big. Rudy Gobert is a guy to keep an eye on, although he has 4 years and $170 million left on his contract. Jimmy Butler with the Miami Heat. There's reports that things between him and Eric Spoelstra, may not go away. And we've seen this with Butler before, where he wears down on teammates and franchises decide to move on from him. Could he get moved this offseason, and would the Celtics have interest? I think it's a possibility, although I think this one's a little less likely than the other two. The last one being Donovan Mitchell as we go back to Utah. I think there's a real chance that if Utah loses in the first round, they're going to shake things up by trading Gobert and or Mitchell. I don't know if they'd commit to a full-out rebuild, but there's already reports out there that Mitchell wants to play in a bigger market. There's been chatter he wants to play with the Knicks, but a team like the Celtics, one of the OG franchises in the NBA as well, would certainly be pretty appealing, I would think, to Donovan Mitchell. Name a player that you think the Celtics should land or try to trade for this offseason. Let us know down in the comments section of this video of a player that you would like to see the Celtics land this offseason. All right, so there you go. Recap of the 3 targets this offseason. Make sure you guys subscribe to Boston Celtics Today for more Celtics news and rumors. Videos around the Celtics, and the playoffs are just around the corner. So hit that big red button and subscribe. Plus, turn on those notifications so we have you guys covered all year long.